Lately, I've been doing some reflecting on my life, thinking about the things that I haven't achieved, thinking about the things that I have. And as I've thought about this fortunate situation, having a career in music, I've kind of realized that there are a handful of habits that have led me to this place and have really changed my life as a guitarist. And today, I'm going to share those with you. One of the biggest guiding forces in my musical journey has been embracing and deferring to this fearless confidence that sits somewhere deep within. And don't get me wrong, it's not a cocky thing. It's not me thinking that I'm God's gift to music or anything like that, but rather just an inherent belief that I can do whatever it is that I set my mind to. I can't tell you exactly where this came from, but it's been there for a long time. I mean, when I first started playing guitar at 13, I had no doubt that I was gonna do something with it, even though I had no tangible proof that that would be the case. And this belief led me to forming a band. It gave me the confidence to record music at a young age, hustle up gigs, go to music school, countless practice hours, just believing that this was gonna pay off, start a YouTube channel, and then do what I do here. There are a lot of things I've done in my life that probably would have seemed a little bit crazy to those around me. And hey, I'm not immune to self-confidence issues, but if I let that seed of self-doubt creep in, grow, and start steering the ship, I'm certain that I would have been worse off today. And I know there's a lot of people out there who struggle with this, that this doesn't come naturally to them. And my advice is always just fake it for a bit, see what happens. Let's do a specific example here. Let's say you want to learn some shreddy, amazing guitar solo, but you don't think you can do it. Well, I'm going to ask you to do an experiment, and it's just a one-time thing. If it doesn't work, whatever, we're just going to try this out. But imagine that you believe with 100% of your being that you could learn that guitar solo. What would you do? Then you're gonna go and approach the solo with that mentality. And when you inevitably butt up against self-confidence issues again, like say you've been practicing for a week, it still doesn't come together and you wanna quit, you're gonna remind yourself that you're doing it differently this time. You're approaching this, believing 100% that you're gonna conquer it. And what would you do with that mentality? Well, you're just gonna keep on pushing until you work it out. It might take some time, but when you eventually do conquer your goal, you realize that, hey, maybe I can do more than I gave myself credit for. And that thing that you were faking becomes a reality. I've watched students do this before, and all it can take is just doing this one time to get that snowball rolling, and it really can take you to some amazing places. And on that note, I'll take a second here to quickly let you know that there's a flash sale going on over my course platform, samuraiguitartheory.com. Over there, I have 5 courses that teach the system I use whenever I make music. See, I was never an especially gifted musician. Everything I can do comes from a methodical approach to learning my instrument. I've had many teachers and experiences over the years, and I've taken what I learned and turned that into 5 professionally animated courses so that anyone can acquire the same musical tools that changed my life as a guitarist. The first 20 to use promo code HABITS will save 50% off any course or any bundle. You can find more information at samuraiguitartheory.com. I've also put up links in the description. Anyways, let's get back to it. Which brings me to the next habit that's had a huge impact on my life: keeping an eye on my surroundings and always being willing to adapt. There can be a tendency to singularly focus on one goal, which is great, but like my old hockey coach used to say, 88, eyes up, keep your head on a f***ing swivel. You're on a path. Good stuff, but you want to keep looking around to make sure there isn't a more appealing path, or there isn't a 250-pound tree of a defenseman who's about to demolish you. My real goal was always to have a career in music. I just figured I was gonna play in bands, that whole thing. But the further along I went in my musical journey, the more I realized how challenging it was to have a comfortable lifestyle in the traditional world. After graduating college, I was trying to figure this whole thing out. I was pursuing traditional roads, but I was always keeping my head in the swivel, looking around, and I started to see guitarists having real success online. And while all of my peers were going this way, I decided to swerve this way, and I found way more success than I ever would have had I not been willing to adapt my vision. I mean, even here on YouTube, you look at how much my content's changed over the years, and I think that's why I've been able to do it for nearly 10 years. I'm trying new things, adapting to the changing landscape while also staying true to myself. Moving on to the next habit that's been greatly important to me is seeking out people who know more than I do. There is nothing in the world that I'm the most knowledgeable person on, which is actually a really good thing, because if I was the most knowledgeable person on something, what would I do when I get stumped on that? Who would I turn to? Be it a style of music, a production element, YouTube thumbnails, I'm habitually seeking out people who are better than I am, learning from them, and in turn, increasing my own skill. Moving on is making a habit of striking when the inspiration is hot. The state of musical excitement and inspiration is a sacred thing for the artist. It doesn't come around all the time, and when it does, you gotta push things aside and dive into it. When something tweaks that thing for me, I follow it as far as I can, as soon as I can. Because our brains can do a funny thing where when you go back to something that was inspiring at a later date, it can feel way less exciting. However, if you chase your inspiration, as soon as it hits, even if you don't finish it right away, getting the bulk of that idea out makes it so much easier to come back and work on it when the high of inspiration has dimmed. Now, I've also made it a habit, maybe even a bit of an obsession, to see things through that I start. Inspiration is the fun part. Anybody can do something when they're inspired, but it's the hard work that goes in after the inspiration is worn off that's really going to elevate what you do. I also think it's so important to make a habit of not biting off more than you can chew. I know so many musicians who spread themselves way too thin and they can't give 100% to any of the projects they're in, and none of their projects end up going anywhere because of this. I think it was Bruce Lee who said, "I fear not the man who's practiced 1,000 kicks one time, but rather the man who's practiced one kick 1,000 times." This is the mentality you want to take. If you're going to do something, do it right, do it all the way. And how do you know what really is worth pursuing? Well, you gotta make a habit of listening to your gut instinct. It's gonna take time to develop this instinct. I've learned through a lot of trial and error, spend a lot of time trying to learn about myself and figure out what it is that I truly like, what it is that I truly find fun, and ultimately what it is that is worthwhile for me to pursue. And while there's real work to be done, no matter what you're doing in music, the greater net experience should be fun, and if you're not enjoying what you're doing, you gotta listen to that and sort it out. At the same time, hey, there's music that I don't enjoy. I know that I don't enjoy it, but I've made it a habit of trying to figure out why people enjoy certain things that I don't. In doing so, I've gained a wide appreciation, at least a respect for most genres, and I've found things that I enjoy that I never thought that I would have. So when I do come across things that I don't initially like, I challenge myself to figure out what it is about those things that people do find appealing. And in seeking those answers, it's given me a deeper understanding of all music, a deeper maturity than if I had just closed my ears off. And when I go back and play my chosen genres, I think it does have a positive impact. Now, there are a lot of mentalities and habits that I mentioned in this video that sometimes even seem to contradict each other. So I'm gonna mention one more thing that I habitually do. Try to seek balance with all of this. How I made these things work for me is gonna be different from how they work for someone else, but I think it's important to spend time thinking about me. I think about what I do. I think about why I do it. I think about what makes me happy, and in understanding this stuff as much as I can, it helps me bring stability in all this. It doesn't always stay in balance. It requires ongoing maintenance, and you gotta do things outside of music that can give you perspective on your life from a different lens. And sometimes these non-musical things have a huge impact on what you do musically. I know I try to have a debrief at the end of every day where I ask myself things like, what went well? What went bad? Am I closer to my goals? Could I do a better job finding inner peace and fulfillment? Am I putting my energy into the right places? And in doing this kind of thing, it's allowed me to do music as long as I have. And ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Those are the biggest, most important habits that have changed my life as a guitarist. Remember, we got a flash sale going on over at my course platform, samuraiguitartheory.com. The first 20 of you to use promo code HABITS will get 50% off anything you want to buy over there. As well, got some new merch. You can get the palette knife, Samurai Guitar Player over at shopsamuraiguitarist.com. Links for both those things will be in the description. Thank you all for watching. If you want to check out another video like this one, hit the link up there. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, and stay tuned for a wide range of music-related content. Till next time, look after yourselves, look after each other, look after the planet. I'm Samurai Guitarist, and I'll see you again soon. And I think I need to make a habit of blinking more because my eyes feel very dry today.